In card number 3, the 12 cards of fall, I am using Harvest Hello. This is a perfect stamp set if you have children, because it has got the cutest teacher sayings to an A+ teacher. If you are a teacher, welcome back. Of course, school's already started, but it'd be great for next year, this summer school. But really, if you are a mom with kids who have teachers, you'll want to get Harvest Hello. Every teacher loves gifts, and what a cute tag the little to an A+ teacher with the little apple will make. But we're not making apples today. We are doing a pumpkin, because the 12 cards of fall are all about gratitude and letting those you love know how much they mean to you. And so we're using "Hey there, pumpkin," and then inside write a gratitude letter to that friend or family member. All right, let's get started. So the first thing is we are going to need the Early Espresso card base, and this is going to be a horizontal direction card. Next, we will need, this is from Gather Together designer paper. Look how cute those, whoops, it's a little out of focus. I don't know if I can get that in focus. There it is. Those cute little pumpkins and wheat, very cute. But we're using the wood side, and we're just going to place that like that. Then we're going to stamp and color our pumpkin. We have some brass foil paper, and I'm going to run that through the embossing machine with this, the new hammered metal embossing folder. That is going to look really cool. I have the white burlap ribbon, and we're going to color that so it matches our card. We also have some linen thread. So lots of fun pieces to this card. Let's go ahead and stamp our pumpkin and color it, and we'll also need to fussy cut. There's not a, oh, actually there is a punch that comes with this. However, I do not have the punch, so I'm going to have to fussy cut. But also, these are the red rubber, awesome, high quality stamps. The backs are real sticky, so no worries of it falling off. Now, I'm using Early Espresso ink to stamp the outline of my pumpkin, but I will be coloring it with our alcohol Stampin' Blends. So let me get those out. And I'm going to stamp everything on this one little piece of paper. And if you need all the measurements to these cards, please sure to go to my blog. I always do a write-up on each card and give you the detailed instructions, the measurements, the names of the colors, all of that fun stuff. All right. One last thing I didn't tell you about is my stamp cleaner. This is Stampin' Chamois. All it is a chamois sponge that's I rinse out after every time I use it. So every evening I usually rinse it out because I usually stamp all day long. But it just picks the ink up. Now I did get ink down in between the grooves, so I'll need to pick the sponge up and get in between there. But it comes right off, cleans it up beautifully. Put that away, and let's get out the cute little pumpkin leaves here. And we have this itty bitty stamp block. This is the A block, works great. And I'm going to stamp 2 of these. Okay. Clean that off. Then I need the stem to my pumpkin, and again I'm using the A block, and that was simple. And last but not least, our sentiment, which we will also be fussy cutting because I want it right down to the edge of the words. And I'm going to switch over to the B block, and I'm just going to stamp that right there. All right, now that we have everything stamped, let me show you how to color this. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. A little back out. Make sure it's in focus. I think it's too close. There we go. All right. When I color with my Stampin' Blends, I always start with my lightest, and I'm starting with Light Mango Melody. I'm going to color my entire pumpkin with Light Mango Melody. Next, my next color is the light pumpkin pie. And now, depending on how you want your light to be showing, my light is coming straight on to my pumpkin. So the centers of these parts of the pumpkin will be brighter than where the grooves are, where it's sunk in. It'll be more shadowy. So I'm just going to come in here and put in the light pumpkin pie. Okay. Then the dark pumpkin pie. Make sure that's what that is. Yep, dark pumpkin pie. I'm switching to the fine tip. I was using the brush tip because I had a lot to cover, but now I'm not going to be covering so much. Okay, and finally, the dark Cajun craze. And this, there's just a little bit of this. You don't need very much at all. Just where it would be really, really dark, like underneath the pumpkin. And a little bit up the crevices of the different, you know, how the pumpkin has the crevices there. So maybe just a little bit. And up here at the top where it kind of goes in. And the very outside edge. All right. Okay, now that I've got all the colors in there, I want to blend it all back together. And I'm using the light pumpkin for the very outside edges. And I am just going to blend these outside ones pretty good. And the fun thing about alcohol inks is what it's doing is it's pushing the color to the other side when it's blending. And I'm going to switch to my tip. It's a firmer tip, and it really pushes the ink when you press and really gives it that good blend. Okay, and then all around these edges, not where the yellow, not where the light mango is though. I don't want to get in there because I'm going to go over that with the light mango again. So just kind of blending a little bit there with that light pumpkin. And then finally back with the light mango. Now I'm going to come in here and really do some blending. And it's just, it doesn't pick the ink up onto the ink marker, it pushes it down. That's the difference between alcohol markers and water-based markers. So it's a different type of coloring altogether. And And so you always want to finish with your lightest color when you're blending. There we go. And then if you think, oh, that's really too dark, like in there, you can lift color with a color lifter. If you're not familiar with the color lifter, looks like this. And so like if I think it needed just a little more brightness right here, see how it's lifting it? You can see the white. And another thing I want you to notice is that the early espresso is not being affected. Alcohol and water-based don't mix, so that's why I stamped it in the water-based early espresso. All right, voila, one colored pumpkin. Quickly do the leaves. And once again, I start with the light, I put in some shadows, and then I blend with the light. Very easy, very simple. I'm using Granny Apple Green. It's a nice bright green. When I shadow leaves, I usually color the bottom of the leaf where it comes up from the stem, and then some of the veins. Just a little bit, not too much. There we go. And now we come back with the light and blend everything together. Now, it looks very dark right now, but when it dries, you'll see the blend. Let me dry it off a little bit for you. You can kind of see it there. Some shadowing. And last but not least, our stem is done in dark crumb cake. And no blending needed there. I'm just coloring it in. All right, now we've got it colored. Time to cut it out. When you are fussy cutting, I've done a video earlier. Fussy cutting, you need to remember two things. First, you need an extremely sharp, small pair of scissors, and we sell an excellent pair called our Paper Snips. They have a very, very sharp end. I don't know if you can see that or not. That really gets in the teeny tiny corners, and then also the blades are razor sharp. Next thing, go ahead and get a rough cut around your item you're cutting out, and now turn the item, and I like to leave maybe an 1/8 to a 1/16 of an inch of white paper border. Kind of looks like I cut it out with a die cut that way. You know how they leave the pretty white border. And notice how I'm turning the pumpkin and not my scissors. And just slowly, be patient. Now that we have everything cut out, it's time for the next step. Let's glue the wood plank to the early espresso. And you can use tape runner snail if you'd rather, but I tend to use liquid glue a lot. I make a lot of cards. Liquid glue just seems to go further. Alrighty, it also is for sure going to stay stuck on there with liquid glue. It's not going to come off in humid areas, which it's very humid here in Texas today. Next is to emboss our copper foil. Alright, so here's my copper foil and my embossing folder. And there we go, that was pretty easy. Once again, I want to use liquid glue. I've said this before, when you have a textured surface, the glue definitely holds that down much better. And we're just going to stick that right across there. Not quite the center, a little towards the bottom. Not too much towards the bottom though. All just maybe leave an inch from the bottom of the paper there. I want to put my burlap ribbon down here, but I don't like the white, so I'm going to color it. And I thought I would color it in dark Cajun craze. All right. And we just need the brush tip here. You will want some good scratch paper because alcohol markers bleed through, so I'm going to grab this scratch paper here. And to color, this is an excellent way to save money. Buy all of your embellishments and accessories in neutral colors, and then you use an alcohol marker and you can just color them any color you want. So we're just going to color this with the dark Cajun craze. Turn that around. Alright, and I want to make sure it's all, so I'm going to flip it over and go ahead and color the back too. That way I know it's got ink all the way through it. It's good and colored. Alright. Now the best thing to stick ribbon on with is the snail. I'm not sure why, but I have found the snail really holds ribbon. And I really need to make sure this is dry though before I try to put any ribbon on it, tape on it, adhesive. Yeah, I don't think it's sticking to the ribbon. It is not. All right, let's stick it on here then. There we go. Perfect. And this ribbon's still a little bit wet, so use a paper to squish that down real good. There we go. All right, we have our burlap ribbon on here. We need to assemble our pumpkin. So our little pumpkin is going to go right here in the center. We're going to have one leaf behind the pumpkin along with the stem, and so I'm going to use some liquid glue and just stick those on the back there. Whoops, where'd my glue go? Okay, and actually I want the stem underneath the leaf. Whoops, or in between the leaf, I guess I should say. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Really cute. Our other leaf will come up here on top of the pumpkin with a dimensional. Our pumpkin is also going to be on a dimensional. So let's get our dimensionals out. And a round object usually holds pretty good with 3. So in a triangle form there. I like trying to give as many hints and tips as I can while I'm putting a card together for you. I hope that you're getting a lot of good information from this. I really love our products and everything. Our little leaf gets a dimensional. And these dimensionals are really awesome too. They're a hexagon shape, and so they're great for square objects and round objects. And I'm not quite sure. No, I think I want my little leaf to go this direction. There we go. Okay, so we have our leaves on there. We have 2 more things. We have our saying, but we've also got our linen thread I want to put on there. Now, I'm just going to tie a simple bow and put it here on the stem. So I just cut off a piece and I make 2 rabbit ears, and then I just tie those, twist them together, tie them, pull. Now when I adjust the loop, I want to put something in there to, like my pinky finger, to secure it as I pull. Okay, that keeps it from twisting. Because if you just pull the thread hold the knot and pull the thread, your loop will twist. So you want to have it, keep it from twisting by holding it with your pinky finger or something. All right, so there's a good, now once it gets that little, then you can hold the knot and just kind of pull it a little bit where you want it, and that looks good. That's a perfect size bow. Best way to adhere threads like this is with a glue dot. So let me grab a glue dot. And I collect glue dots from my Paper Pumpkin subscription. And the best way to get them off is with our piercing tool. So I just pick it up with the tip there. I want my twine, I'm going to pull that stem up a little bit. I want my twine to be tied right there to the end of the stem. And then I just stick it right on there. There we go. And the little tails are kind of long, so I'm going to trim those back. There we go. So cute, so cute. Almost done. Last thing, our cute little saying here, "Hey pumpkin," and we're just putting that right there. We want it, we don't want it to fall sideways like that, so we're going to adhere it to the pumpkin, but we're also going to use a dimensional on the back so that it has some stableness on this side. Pull that there. Actually, these dimensionals are so sticky you don't even really need to put anything on the pumpkin part. And there we go. Hey there, pumpkin! Open it up and write a beautiful letter note to a friend, to a family member. This is the month, or actually fall is the month, as the season of gratitude. November is the month of gratitude, but here in September I thought I'd get a head start. I'm sending each of these cards, all 12 of them, 12 cards of fall, as gratitude cards to my family and friends, and I want to encourage you to do the same. If you like this card, go over to my blog. You can get all the instructions and the links to my shop where you can get all the supplies. Also, I have a newsletter. If you're interested in more card tutorials, every week I send an exclusive card tutorial to my email subscribers. Plus, you can keep up on the latest promotions and sales and new items that Stampin' Up's coming out with my newsletter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and creative rest of your day. Go out there and show your gratitude to all those you love. Until next time, bye-bye.